Hello, my profane friends. Has anyone seen Johnny, by the way? Just making a coffee. I ain't seen Johnny for a while. Just wonder if he's alright, if anyone knows. But anyway, I was just doing some education to these boys, you know what I mean, outside the gym. Well, they're more than likely listening to this now because I'll give them my, you know, like my Facebook, and I give them my my YouTube, and I'm going to put some links in with this video anyway. Yeah, so those who want to just get started on Masonic symbolism, the people that control your towns and your cities, this will be a good place to start on the first post, and I'll leave this up for a little while. But you know, so many people are profane and have no idea of what's going on within your town. You know, your towns and your cities are coordinated by corrupt career criminals, yeah, that network through Freemason lodges. Do you know what I mean? And that's the basics of it. Do you know what I mean? There should be, I mean, like, for instance, they disparage my name because they don't want people listening to me, yeah? Oh, we can't have him, you know what I mean? You can't have people listening to him, so we'll have to disparage his name, you know what I mean? They'll do your career in, you know, they'll do your business in, they'll try and make you piss poor, you know, all that. They don't want people speaking to you or associating with you, you know what I mean? Because you're speaking truth, and they don't want the truth out there. Do you know what I mean? Well, most of you guys know about that anyway. But the point is, if we made a new law, right? A new law minimum, yeah, that if you hang around, say, for instance, that someone who deals drugs, right? Cocaine, heroin, that sort of thing, yeah? If you hanged around a person for more than 15 minutes or 5 minutes, yeah, total, yeah, your assets are stripped and taken away from you because of your association with that drug dealer. Do you know what I mean? Now, that, first of all, will turn every drug dealer into a pariah, right? No one would want to be near them or go near them, okay? That includes family members as well, because that's the way they should be treated. But they ain't. They're treated like heroes within your communities. And that's why you've got all these people going, you know, when you get burgled, people go, oh, that burglar. Do you know what I mean? He's burgling you. He's not a he's trying to feed his drug habit. And the people who sell them drugs to them, yeah, are making that happen. That's why you get burgled, why you get robbed, why your car's stolen, why your businesses are caved in, because they're after the drugs, yeah, for their drug money, yeah. And the people doing that within your town and cities are the drug dealers, yeah, and they're buying all the gold, yeah. They're buying all the watches that get stolen, all the rings, all the necklaces, anything of value, yeah. Drug dealers are buying it up and flogging it and earning a great big profit. You know, they're putting it into their second-hand shops, for instance, or, you know, other means and ways, yeah. Or this, you know, they're putting it on containers and shipping it abroad and selling it to other countries, yeah, things like this. So if there was a new law, for instance, that drug dealers, you know, give, you know, all drug dealers a minimum sentence anyway. Yeah, I'm not on about the people trying to feed their habit, you know, and the people that are being groomed, and they're, you know, and they're, you know, they're the victims of the elite. Do you know what I mean? I'm on about the elite. Do you know what I mean? Because if you did that, there would be no Masonic lodges associating with each other. Do you know what I mean? Because every lodge would be shut down because they'd be too scared to lose their assets. Do you know what I mean? Because that's where all the drugs are being dealt from anyway. Yeah, I can prove that over and over again, 100%. You know what I mean? But that's another story, and I can show you the businesses involved in that. You know, but if there was a new law come in, yeah, that, you know, that if you have an association with a drug dealer, yeah, boom, and you are physically, you know, interacting with him and giving him support by, you know, interacting with him, you know, using his business or anything like that, then you lose all your assets and you're stripped. You'll see that they'll get used as a pariah then. Do you know what I mean? No one would want to go near them. Do you see what I mean? That's the first thing, yeah. Especially Freakmasons would have the ability to have any meetings, let alone anything else, because that's where all your dealers are coming from anyway. Do you know what I mean? And if you strip the assets that the Freakmasons have stolen off the profane anyway, yeah, because they're a gang, yeah, that have gone around, you know, whether they're coming around as bailiffs or sheriffs back in the day, or knights on their horses, or pirates or Knights Templars that used to rob the people on the Silk Roads and all of that bollocks, yeah, that's where all the wealth come from, because they were all corrupt criminals, yeah, and that's been that way for centuries and decades. You know, you find a piece of land and live on it, you're going to get a load of people come up, yeah, and they go, we're taking this land, same as the cowboys and the Indians, that old sugar puff, you know what I mean? That was a load of fallacy, you know what I mean? Again, I could prove, you know, again, it's in Masonic books if you do enough reading, that they had a sign, yeah? So if an Indian or a cowboy met and they were from a Masonic lodge, they could throw a sign and then they get help. Do you know what I mean? That happened during war. All wars, no matter what wars, yeah? Freemasons always have the advantage because they throw a sign, yeah? Or they put a sign on their bunker, their trench or whatever. And it's that then all the Freemasons will turn away from shooting there or throwing bombs at it. Do you see what I mean? This is the advantage in war that Freakmasons have. But that's too late. You can't fight them anyway because they've been digging bunkers and safe houses and everything else for decades and centuries. So I mean, you, the profane, you're nothing. You mean, what are you prepared for? You're prepared for nothing. These people at the top echelons, yeah, have been preparing for centuries and decades to combat and beat you. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's with pesticides, nuclear bombs or anything else. So you ain't going to win them anyway. You know, you start taking your towns and your cities back from them, yeah? And making some real true laws that mess them up where they can't do something. Do you know what I mean? Then you'll see the true Freakmason turn out. You know what I mean? You know, you'll see the guillotine come out. You'll be shooting people. It'll go right back to where it was in Germany in the, you know, and all of that malarkey. Do you know what I mean? But that'll be the profane. There's two people on this planet, profane people and Freemasons that are within the temple, that are holy, that have been raised up from the dead like Jesus, yeah? That's what it's all about, you know what I mean? They're gods above you because you're without the temple. You're thick, you're stupid, and you're in the dark north. That's Freakmasonry for you. Do you know what I mean? And you know, and I'm telling you now, yeah, I've been to that, you know, like say my James Paget Hospital here, yeah, been in there. The people that were like acting weird, yeah, around me, yeah, in there, yeah, and I'm talking about doctors, nurses, auxiliary people, do you know what I mean? Bunch of weirdos working for Freakmasons, do you know what I mean? Yeah, that's how it is. I mean, community harassment knows no bounds in this town, yeah, and it's in every town. It doesn't matter what it is. Once you become a truther and you start speaking your truth of who the corrupt people are, yeah, you are going to get dissed. They're going to say things about you. They're going to do things to you, anything to destroy you, your reputation, your business, the way you live. They're going to try and make you homeless. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, we need surveys, yeah, where we can say, right, how many Freakmasons are family members that have council houses for starters? Do you know what I mean? How many people are getting priority over other people? Do you know what I mean? Because all they're doing in that town hall and council is giving all their own members and their own people preference over everyone else. Do you know what I mean? I'll do a video later. I've already rung them up twice. From last year, March, yeah, I've been on the housing list, yeah, and I've not had one house offered to me, yeah, in a bid. Do you know what I mean? I rung them up the other day. I still ain't had a call back. Do you know what I mean? Which is normal because I'm a Freakmason turncoat whistler or whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean? No, I am not a Freemason, as you all know. I've never been a Freakmason. Never would be. I got asked by Woody behind near the circus to join, but when he said it was an education, I've got to sit down and do, I went, fuck that. I didn't even like school, so I never joined. That's the only time I ever got asked, I believe, you know what I mean? But since then, now I've obviously woke up, I knew what was going on then, do you know what I mean? Anyway, my profane friends, like I said, once you start speaking out and you know what I mean, really going against the real people, yeah, that are the corrupt people within your town, you know, the business owners, the club owners, the pub owners, and all the rest of it, the ones who have a voice within your community, that's when they're going to harass you, they're going to make stories up about you, they're going to do all sorts of shit about you so no one talks to you, you know what I mean, because they don't want people listening to you. Do you know what I mean? Same as Jesus, yeah? They didn't want people to listen to him. So what did? They crucified him because he went into a temple and bashed up their coin tables. Do you know what I mean? Because money to Freakmasonry is more important than anything else. That's their God. And so long as you are spending money in their shops and all their properties, I mean, how many times do you think with rent, yeah, with the council, yeah, that people have paid rent over the years, how many times that house has been bought? Literally with money from people that's been taxed or whatever. Do you see what I'm saying? That system. Do you know what I mean? Everyone should be given a house, yeah, and it should be a family home for that family. Do you see what I mean? And if you haven't got a home, one should be built for you, not a nuclear bomb or 2 billion this, that, and the other put else, you know, at other places and whatever. Do you know what I mean? And then we should help other countries, you know, so they don't have to come here. They don't need to come here. We should be helping them, and same as other countries should be helping as well, you know. And that's what it's all about, you know, making peace and good. You know, people who are on drugs, they need to centres where they can go and get their drugs and help. Do you know what I mean? That's what happens in other countries, you know, and there's no crime. Do you know what I mean? But here they want to keep that chaos going, because then, you know, all the people that are on drugs, for instance, are just thinking about getting their hit and their drug, yeah? But they ain't thinking about who's controlling this town, why is there so much corruption and everything else. Do you see what I mean? No one's thinking about it. And then you've got other people distracted by the telly. You know, they'll get home, they go, oh, I've got to get in. EastEnders, you know, Coronation Street, all them, you know, Google Box, my God, Google Box. Now, what is Google Box? That's people watching telly, people watch telly. Do you see what I mean? You know, you got people watching telly, and then you got people watching them watch telly. Do you see what I mean? How crazy is that for mind, you know, for mind indoctrination? Do you see what I mean? People watching telly, and then you got people watching them watch the telly. Crazy, you know what I mean? But this is how they get you. And then you got people who sit there, you know, and I know men, you know, 30, 40, 50-year-old men that are sitting there playing Xboxes and X games and all that, which is good and fun. But come on, you've got to think about the corruption of what's going to happen to your children in the next generation. The people educating your children are the Freakmasons, yeah? They control your education, they control your police, they control everything. And it's time to take that control back. Take your communities back from these people, yeah? Because there's nothing good coming from these. These are Satanists. They're no good for no one. I know who they are. I know what they are. Do you know what I mean? Within my community. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I've been doing this a very, very, very long time, and I've researched it, you know, and you can go look at the links. I've been doing this, you know, my first site goes back, you know, which I built, goes back to like the 80s, I believe. Just, yeah, the 82, 83, I think, that, you know, something like that, maybe 86, I don't know. But I've been doing that before that. Do you know what I mean? Keeping newspaper clippings of everything what went on in this town. Yeah, they kept the spending, the things that would disappear. You know, people doing all these things, then that'd just disappear out of the news and that, so it'd all be covered up. All done by Freakmasonry, of course. You know, because they can't have anything in their past because they're all good people, aren't they? You know what I mean? Oh, yeah, crazy people. These people. You know what I mean? Like I said, you ain't got to go to the BBC, which is 223, to get a Jimmy Savile. You've got them in your town, mate. You've got Jimmy Saviles in your town that are business owners, yeah, that look great. You know, they're respectable, and they're standing in the pub, shaking everyone's hand with a funny grip. You know what I mean? And shit like that. I know. You know what I mean? But because I know, I'm disparaged, and no one's supposed to listen to me. Do you know what I mean? Because I know what is going on in my town. I know who the corrupt are. Do you know what I mean? And it's fucking not good. And it ain't just my town, it's your town as well, you know. You got to, you know, to look at Brian Harvey and the Red Rooms, yeah. Think about who owned that nightclub, yeah. Freakmasons, yeah, I'll guarantee it. Who controlled the doors? Freakmasons, I'm telling you. Do you see what I mean? Because the door wars, look at the door wars, yeah. Search it up on on YouTube, yeah, look at all the corrupt criminals on there and just look at them. They talk about it all day. Door wars, yeah. So you've got doormen, yeah, that are controlling drugs, yeah, and you're saying to your children, yeah, that's sneaking in at 16, 17, whatever, go, you know, go have a nice night in the pub, in the club, do you know what I mean? And then go sit there, right, and you listen, right, yeah, and all you'll hear, right, is then going, have we got enough cocaine for tonight? Have we got enough, do you know what I mean? Have we got enough drugs for tonight? Do you see what I mean? It's madness, madness. And the profane go have a good night. And you send your kids right into the lion's den, where the corrupt career criminals stand on the doors with their men, going, yeah, out and serving up. And all they're letting in the doors, yeah, are their own people that are selling drugs to your children. Mad. Mad, you know. And if you go back, I think it was in again the 80s or the 90s, the government, yeah, another Freakmason thing, right, they were going to give the powers of arrest to doormen, so doormen had the powers of arrest. Do you know what I mean? Crazy, you know, mad. Where do you think they get these doormen from? Do you know what I mean? They ain't going to get a doorman from, you know, someone who's at Bible studies or whatever. No, they get them from boxing clubs. Do you see what I mean? And shit like that, you know. They want people that can fight, that, you know, that have been in trouble, you know, for fighting, you know, shit like that. They're your doormen, you know. And then they want tough people that can deal drugs, that ain't going to get taxed every 2 fucking minutes. And the ones that ain't being taxed, that are got puny arms and skinny arms and that, they're not getting robbed because of what's behind them. Do you see what I mean? And it's the people that are behind them that are the scary ones. Do you know what I mean? That will come round team-handed to get you. Do you know what I mean? Oh. And that's what it's all about, my profane friends. Anyway, like I said, if you're going to be a truther, they're going to kill you anyway. You might as well just speak anything and say what you got to say. You know what I mean? Like I said, they can kill me, but my website will go on, my videos will go on, and obviously my other videos that I've been collecting and doing for the last God knows how long will all come out as well. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, it's not, you know, they will not stop my word. Do you know what I mean? The truth I know, and they know I know. Do you know what I mean? Because I used to be, like, say, I wasn't a part of it, you know, I wasn't, like, never doing the dealing or anything like that, but I always knew who the criminals were, let's put it that way, do you know what I mean? And I know of them and what they are, you know? And I know, you know, like I said, that's a bit, you know, but you can't say that, like I said, if you're going to talk about it, like I said, you will be killed. Who was that woman in Liverpool? Was it Liverpool or Manchester? I can't remember now, but she's forgotten about. But she knew the dealers. She was going on about them, and they killed her. Do you know what I mean? But she had no, like, you know, she didn't use video cameras, hidden cameras. She didn't use hidden digital recorders. You know, all of that. You've got to use that, you know, and you've got to be really smart with it. And if you want to recruit people, yeah, the people to recruit are the people that have lost someone. You know what I mean? As simple as that, you know, that are grieving over a death, yeah, and want to do a bit of payback on the dealers. Do you know what I mean? But it isn't just a case of, you know, doing it within 6 months or a year. You've got to do it a long time, yeah, so that you can protect, you know, that you know, when, you know, you've got to have watchers, let's put it that way. I ain't saying too much, but yeah, just have watchers. That's all you got to do, you know, and then you know, do you know what I mean? And like I said, new laws need to come in. Like I said, where if you're associated with a drug dealer or someone who's dealing drugs and they're arrested, then the whole frigging shebang that associates, that supports that, yeah? You know, because here, like, there's businessmen standing here toe-to-toe with drug dealers and they're shaking their hands and going, hello, brother, how are you? Oh, you're so wonderful. Here's a tenner. Giving it to the profane people. Here's a tenner, I'll lend you a tenner. Yeah, do you want a drink, mate? Yeah. Everyone's selling their fucking... Their respectability for cheap shit of just a drink, you know. Oh, he's great, he is. He bought me a drink. He's wonderful, he is. He's a good geezer, you know what I mean? And he lent me a tenner every now and then, and a fiver. Oh, he let me off that tenner, where he's getting like 50 grand a month, and a tenner and a fiver's fucking nothing to him. Do you know what I mean? But the people are going, yeah, he's all right. He gave me a tenner the other day. He's really sound, he is. Do you see what I mean? This is how they work it, you know. They buy respect for next to nothing. A bag of this, you know what I mean? A little tiny bag of that buys a lot of respect. Even the ones they're killing, you know, and I could go into it, I don't want to go into it, but even the ones that had died from it or lost their mums, their dads and whatever, yeah, you know, that have been orphaned, yeah, you know, and I got pictures of, you know, girls with kids in their prams going to school, do you know what I mean? But you imagine that, yeah, they still respect them, do you know what I mean? That's like, what the fuck, do you know what I mean? Respect your drug dealers, you know what I mean? But there you go. What, you know, I can go on all day long, you know what I mean? Like I said, if you want to know where the true corruption is within your town, in your city is, you've only just got to look at, you know, YouTube videos, and the criminals are on there making podcasts all day long. You know what I mean? And they'll educate you. In fact, look down I'll put a link on this wall. I'll put a link in with this video, yeah, somewhere. I don't know how to do it, but I'll put it on my post or whatever. But again, all down my wall, you know, put in drug lords, yeah, or crime lords, yeah, down my wall, and you'll see, yeah, that I put it in there. You know, they're talking about it all day long. You know what I mean? Who can try? And they get, you know, their armies. Like, I've got 550 men, 150 doormen. You know what I mean? And that's just the gang, and they're working for the elite. You know what I mean? The people at the top, the businessmen. Do you know what I mean? And all that money that funnels to where? To go where? To do what? Nothing. The elite don't need money. They don't need any fucking money. It's just you that needs the money that you think you need to live on. Do you know what I mean? That's what it is. That's all it is. And they enslave you by that, yeah? That's like now, yeah? I can stand here. Now, who am I going to pay to do something? No one. I'm piss poor, yeah? But these people, they go, yeah, it's 100 grand. Go kill him. Do you know what I mean? And they can get anyone to do anything they want. And they've done it. You know what I mean? You want to kill a president? Kill him. If you want to kill a man in jail, yeah? You think that them people that just got scot-free away from killing Epstein, yeah? Right? No, you know, because obviously they've been told, if you take the fall, we'll make sure you get nothing. Yeah, which they didn't. They got probation or something, or a bit of community work. Do you see what I mean? But the money they more than likely got, and I don't mean for themselves, maybe for their next generation. They go, well, we'll guarantee you your son, you know what I mean, will suddenly win a lottery or something like that. Do you see what I mean? You know? Holds a lot of swing, doesn't it? You know, and this is how they play the game, you know, and most of their, like I said, most of it is run on blackmail anyway, you know, because you imagine, like I said, you know, look at Epstein with all his cameras and his films, right? And then you've got the red rooms here with Brian Harvey, yeah? So these are all, you know, remember this goes back to the Cray twins as well, you know, again, an association through that, and the clubs and the pubs they owned, yeah? You know, and it don't matter where you go, you can go anywhere, any sort of club, you know, gang members, yeah, and look what's behind them, blah, 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 yeah. And you'll always find just nightclubs and pubs and you know what I mean, yeah? And they deem fit to who runs what, and if you're getting taxed or not, you know, or you're paying them, you know. And like I said, it all filters to the Masonic Lodge, and so long as you're paying your dues, yeah. Now, if they're all paying dues, right, into the lodge, and they all also own all the businesses, right, which we know they fucking do, yeah. So they own all the leases, they own all the businesses, yeah, and everything else that's filtering into that Masonic Lodge. You got to ask yourself, why is everyone piss poor in the town? Because they're putting nothing back in. Because they've got to keep that chaos going. Because if you are comfortably rich or whatever, no one's going to work for them. Do you see what I mean? No one's going to want to do anything for them. So they need to keep you enslaved with the money, yeah, and make sure it filters up, back up the pyramid to them, which they just then throw back down to the bottom. Do you know what I mean? And that's all what keeps going. And it's the same cycle over and over again. As long as they can keep you shushed up, yeah, people not asking questions or anything out of the ordinary, then all is good. Do you know what I mean? You know, like you think what I'm talking about here, they want that? No, they want to shush me up. Shh, shh, keep him quiet. Bloody hell, baby. You know what I mean? Do you know? So what you think they might, you know, they like what I'm saying here? No, they freaking hate it because they know, you know, that I know. And they don't want that. They'd rather me sitting in my living room playing a PlayStation and not thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? Or going through a 9 till 5 job, coming home at 8, too fucking knackered to even think about anything anyway. Do you see what I mean? Oh, baby. But yeah, I don't know. It's mad, isn't it? You know what I mean? You know, like I said, I can only do so much. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm now thinking about getting a hall. Yeah, hiring a hall out, and then do some. You know, like I said, do some symbolism in the hall, educate people about Freakmasonry, blah blah blah, and see where it goes. Obviously, film it live as well, and just see who turns up. You know, and what turns up. You know, you just don't know. They might send their boys in. You know, can you remember that? I don't know if you've seen the video, but, you know, like when these clowns out here, yeah, council workers never knew who they were, what they are, doing some work in another house, and they go, look, there's a camera. Quick, we better go and warn the boys, and we better go tell the boys, just in case they send the boys round, do you know what I mean? And they dance around like a couple of fairies, these Freakmasons, do you know what I mean? But they didn't realise that, you know, obviously the camera's fucking filming it, do you know what I mean? Bloody idiots. But that's what I'm saying, you know. I mean, do you see what I mean? That's how, you know, these are council workers. Do you see what I mean? But how are they Freakmasons, yeah, council workers, yeah, and they know about me and where I live, and I don't know nothing about who they are or what they are, but they're dancing outside. Quick, we better go and warn the lads there's a camera, just in case they send the lads round. Do you see what I mean? Fucking dumb, innit? It just shows you how corrupt Freakmasonry is and how they have eyes and ears everywhere. And they fucking have. Like I said, at that hospital, you know what I mean? The amount of people that freaks down there, mate, you know what I mean? And, you know, the ambulance drivers, do you know what I mean? That's fucking mad, mate. You know, if you knew, I just wish I could, like, just, you know, have a TV, you know, that can, you know, like broadcast like BBC or Anglia or whatever, you know what I mean? I wish I could just broadcast my whole brain and the way I think into all the profane people, do you know what I mean? Because then you'd see a massive change, do you know what I mean? Because the first thing I'd do is get everyone would be down at town hall voting them bloody buggers out, do you know what I mean? And that's the first thing. Then we'd be asking questions like, well, who can we have all your, you know, all your back reports, you know, on the people that have got houses who are associated with Freakmasons, yeah? And we'd like to see how many profane people have got it, yeah? How many Freakmasons are on the street homeless? There ain't none. You try and find a homeless Freakmason, there ain't any. Do you see what I mean? You know, it's mad. Absolute mad. Yeah, fucking no way. Anyway, my profane friends, you know when I like to ramble, but I'll leave some videos, some links again. Some of them are, you know, like covered up, I reckon. You won't be able to get to them. That's just normal anyway. But like I said, when you start talking about the real corruption, remember, you can't, your world, yeah, your world, and I'll keep telling you this, when you hear people talk, they go, you know, the world, the conspiracy, forget the world. You can't do nothing about the world, but you can do something about your community. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you got to do. You got to take back your community. And if you take back enough communities across the world, yeah, the rest will sort itself out. Do you see what I mean? But you've got to make the laws. You've got to put real people in real positions of power, yeah, that ain't on the Masonic agenda or any sort of agenda with these secret societies. You know what I mean? They've got to be just normal working class people, yeah, that want to do good in life, yeah. Do you know what I mean? And that's what you've got to do. You've got to put people in power that are good people, you know, just good, wholesome people, not worried about power and having all this property and all these fucking cars and all that shit. You know what I mean? It's crazy, you know. But once you oust them out, you know what I mean, that's it. You know, you're going to start changing things, you know. People that need a place to live will go, right, who owns this land here? You know what I mean? What are you doing with it in the next 100 years? Nothing? Right, we're going to build on it. You know what I mean? We're the Knights Templars now. We're taking you off. You know, this land was taken anyway by a bunch of, you know, knights or whoever back in the day. Do you see what I mean? And do exactly what the bloody elite did, you know. We could all ride to Buckingham Palace, demolish it, and then just put a housing estate on there and then put people in there. Do you see what I mean? All of these places. You own nothing. They own all the big places, all these, you know, they own all the bank buildings. They own all the town hall buildings. Yeah, they own all the housing, you know, like Aldrids and all that. They own all them buildings. Do you see what I mean? They own everything. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing you own nothing. You're profane and you will never know nothing. So long as you own the bus ticket to go to work in a factory or work in McDonald's or Kentucky or anything like that, or Tesco's or Aldi, that's okay. You keep on that, baby, because then you're just a profane slave. But as soon as you start thinking outside the box, baby, you will be missed out, you will be disparaged, you will be a nonce, you will be a pervert, you will be this, you will be that, you will be anything so long as people don't talk to you. You know what I mean? And you might just receive, you know, you could get knocked off your motorbike, you know, which are recorded multiple times. You know, you could meet an accident, or they could put you away in prison on a setup, like I said, you know, all of this, you know what I mean? This is what Freakmasons do to get rid of you, you know? Look at Assange, you know what I mean? He got put away, you know what I mean? All on, you know, trumped up charges. This is what they do, whether it's a show or not, or a thingy, because everyone that has a face or thingy now is a Freakmason anyway. The tractors, you know, it's all a show, a farce, do you know what I mean? All of it. You know what I mean? That's just madness. You know what I mean? If you think about the Epstein thing, right? How many people are involved? Like the amount of people that are involved in that, but how many people have been arrested? Do you see what I mean? None. They never get arrested because they're the top echelons. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, if you're doing you know, something for the, you know, you own a lot of land or whatever, they ain't going to take that away from you, because that's your family history that goes back centuries and decades. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and they're not going to even look at you or investigate you anyway. And that's why a new law should come in, that if you hang around or associate with drug dealers, yeah, that are dealing drugs, you lose your assets, including your family, yeah. Then you'll see the Freakmasons that they wouldn't even be able to have a meeting in a fucking lodge. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's the first thing. They wouldn't be able to, because their assets would be stolen, because they're standing toe to toe. Imagine them police officers, you know what I mean, that's standing there with career criminals in the lodge, yeah? Like we'd say with Kenny Noy and all his mates, yeah? Do you know what I mean? You imagine that, all them police officers losing their pensions and everything like that. Do you think they're going to do that? Of course they ain't. Do you see what I mean? They won't make harsh, strict laws like that. You know what I mean? Because they want the drugs in your communities, because it keeps you fucking dumb and not thinking of the enslavement you're actually in. You know? Anyway, that's me rambling. You know me, I like to brag about Freakmasons. Well, I don't know that much, but, you know, I don't know much about Freakmasons, but I know about corruption and Freakmasonry. Do you know what I mean, my babies? And like I said, you know, these people have been around me all my life, yeah? The Lewises, you know, coming up, you know, and I remember everything. Do you know what I mean? I remember it all. So if you're listening, I fucking know. Do you know what I mean? And like I said, you think you're smart, you ain't. Half of you are thick as shit, mate. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's another fucking story. You know, like I said, the G and Gypsy, I mean, the G and Freemasonry ain't what it seems to be. Do you know what I mean? And you just got to be careful, you know. Like I said, this is a corrupt career criminals, you know. These people can call, you know, again, I've shown it in Masonic Increasing Armies. Go to my YouTube, look at Masonic Increasing Armies, and I'll show you the power they have, that army they've got within every town and city. You know what I mean? They eat well, they drink well, yeah. And remember, if you're profane, them Freakmasons are against you. So let's say there's 500 men in this town now, yeah? Right, that 500 men, they've all been given my photograph and they all memorise me, and they got good memories because they memorise their rituals. So all they got to do is remember one face, my face. You see what I mean? Yeah, I can't remember who they are. I don't even know who the 500, you know, I don't even know who the Freakmasons are. Who are they? Where are they? I know who they are, obviously the ones I need to and the important ones. But I don't know every Freakmason that's going meetings and doing whatever. There's 8 lodges in this town, 7 or 8 lodges. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, right. And that's lodges. That's not the chapters, okay? And that's not the Rose Croix lodges and the Knights Templar lodges and all that. Do you see what I mean? So even though they're profession, and the only people, if you ask them, there's only 2 lodges, and that's the Royal Assembly Rooms and the Cliff Hotel, yeah, that's 2 lodges in this town. No one knows about the Cliff Hotel even, so it's just the Royal Assembly Rooms, 1 lodge in this town that people think about, yeah. They don't know about the other 8 lodges or the other X amount of chapters in this town. But the point of the matter is, they only have to remember 1 photograph, so it doesn't matter where I go, a pub, well, they run the pubs and the clubs anyway, and they know who I am by face anyway, yeah. So they can send in 20 men and make me feel uncomfortable. Do you see what I mean? And make that experience of where I'm trying to have a nice chat in a pub, or for instance, or something else, they make it unpleasant for me. Do you see what I mean? Wherever I go. Do you know what I mean? You know, like well, 2 weeks ago, I can't remember now, but a geezer was standing behind me, you know, on the phone. You know, a few times, you know, they do it all the fucking time anyway, the bloody idiots. But, you know, other times, like down in the Galston Bank, a geezer staring at me hard, do you know what I mean? You know, like trying to make me feel uncomfortable, do you know what I mean? Then, well, another geezer come over and go, well done, mate. You know what I mean? He more than likely got a Masonic medal for that, you know, being a hero, because he stared at me, do you know what I mean? Trying to make me feel uncomfortable. These are the things they do in the community to disparage you. Do you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. You know what I mean? I don't care who you are. You know, at the end of the day, like I said, they're going to make one mistake. Next mistake they make, yeah, I will show these people what can be done, what a profane person can be done and will be done. You know what I mean? That's what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? Next mistake they make on me, I'll be the first person, like when I done their blood samples on their Masonic aprons. Do you know what I mean? But I'll do something that'll be remembered. Do you know what I mean? Let's put it that way. I will be a legend within Great Yarmouth. You know what I mean? But if they want to kill me, that's entirely up to them. But they ain't going to shut my mouth up. I've got plenty of videos to last a lifetime on these people. And like I said, their little noncy faces and their pervert heads would come across. You know what I mean? And I'll show you the links up as well. But that's another story, my profane friends. They're disgusting, these people, do you know what I mean? And like I said, they've hounded and harassed me most of my life, do you know what I mean? And like I said, they're perverts, you know? I mean, who stalks people, you know what I mean? Perverts stalk, don't they? Do you know what I mean? You know, if any Freakmason want to come up and, like, represent themselves, I mean, like, there's enough of you, you know, there's only me stand here alone on my own, yeah, there's enough of you to stand up and represent yourself against me, and we'll do some lie detectors, you know. Or do you want me, I could name a few that could step up from the Masonic Lodge, you know, whether it's the Cliff Hotel or the assembly rooms, you know. We can even get a meeting up in that little, you know, where there's no windows, you know. We can have a live meeting in there and do a court session, you know, because you've already took me to your courts and made me a perjured individual internally. Let's have an appeal, you know. We can run it live, and then all my accusers of the perverts that are accusing me of this, that and the other can step fucking forward, can't we? We do a live lie detector, you know, and then you can ask any questions you want of me, and then I can ask the same of you, whether you've been in blood rituals, you know, whether you're drug dealers and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean? Let's get there. Let's put it right on the nail, you know. I'm willing to stand there because I'm in truth. You ain't. You hide. You hide behind uniforms, police uniforms. Do you know what I mean? And you come and arrest me. Do you know what I mean? Because your Freakmason mate who owns a big business gives you the fucking permission to do that, and you discuss it in a lodge. You know what I mean? Fuck you lot. You're a... Anyway, I'm going because I'm getting angry because I know exactly what they are. I know what they've done. And like I said, I'm standing here piss poor because of Freakmasonry have made me a perjured individual. You know what I mean? A vomit, a victim of Masonic ill treatment, a TI, a targeted individual. And that's what I am, because they know. Do you know what I mean? And they don't want people speaking to me or listening to me. You know what I mean? But they try and make themselves like the heroes, like a Jimmy Savile. You know, they're a Jimmy Savile within your community. We're good, we're charitable, we protect people. You do fuck all for communities. You do nothing. You're disgraceful. You know what I mean? Anyway, I'm getting angry. See you later, my profane friends. And like I said, if you're in a truther group or a truther movement, you start mentioning Freakmasons and see how quickly they aced you out that truther movement. Because all truther movements are run by Freakmasons. Like I said, they control the narrative. Every avenue of help is controlled by Freakmasons. They're your solicitors, they're your police, they're your psychologists or psychiatrists, they're your doctors, they're your nurses, they're your therapists, do you know what I mean? And all they're doing is seeing who's coming out of place, and then they're going to put you back in place where position you back into a place where you will be quiet and not say fuck all. Do you know what I mean? You go report a rape, yeah, their first thing they're going to do is what evidence you've got against one of their brothers. And can we shut it down or get him off or give him a not guilty? Do you know what I mean? And that's how it is all the time, you know, shit like that. Trust me, man, I know, you know, and they're not, you know, and these people are not shy of coming up on people with a needle or drugs, do you know what I mean? And raping people. And I'm on about girls, men, do you know what I mean? They're getting away with it all the fucking time. You know, I know the stories, I've got them, you know. Mad, mate, what these people do. And you think they're fucking heroes because they do charity like Jimmy Savile? Look what Jimmy Savile did, you know what I mean? Charity hides corruption, you know. Like I said, in Chicago, yeah, Al Capone had soup kitchens, and they called him a charitable man. Do you know what I mean? And he was a hero. That's them people, like, you know, that still goes on today, you know, like the New York 5 families, yeah? You know, the mafia, the families are in your towns and cities today, the families, yeah? They're there now, the head honchos, the families, they're a tribe of people, if you look into it, that have been around for generations, yeah? Controlling the power of your town and your city. A tribe of people, yeah, that have power over you and have done since the day you were born, and they're watching everyone and anyone who has a slice of trying to get out of that, getting away from the prison they've made you. They're going to disparage you and they're going to make you put you back in line. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, if you know, they know how to manipulate people, yeah, and put them right back where they're supposed to be. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, if you start looking to it, they're going to come and have an affair with your husband, or they're going to come and have an affair with your wife, yeah, because then you're into divorce, then boom boom, and you're distracted by that. So be careful of the people that come into your life, you know, that are going to try to get your wife or try to get your husband. Do you know what I mean? They do all them tricks. Yeah, I could go on and on and on the tricks they do. You know, I could run a whole video of some of the stuff these people do. You know, go to my forum, look in the V.O.M.I.T section, yeah, and read people's stories of what they do to people. Yeah, it's horrendous, and they do it to control you, to keep you imprisoned, and so you don't speak out. Do you know what I mean? And they're going to get you, you know, and they compromise you with drink, they compromise you with drugs. Do you know what I mean? And this is what Freakmasons do, you know. But hopefully that dam's broke now, which I'm fucking so glad, because so many people are realising and waking up. But the people are making the mistake of keep going, it's worldwide. It's not worldwide. Your world is your town. Your world is your city. Your world is your community. Do you know what I mean? And if these people are controlling your community, they're controlling your town, and they're controlling your city, and they're controlling your state, and they're controlling your county, that's what you've got to take back. Do you know what I mean? You know, imagine it now. You know, wherever you are in the world, I don't know where you are, but you've got a state or a county, yeah? Here it's Norfolk. Next door is Suffolk, blah, blah, Essex, blah, blah, blah. Yeah? So that's your world, yeah? My world is Norfolk, yeah? Do you know what I mean? And then in there's cities, yeah? That are controlling the towns. And then the towns are controlling the villages. You see what I mean? It always goes up the pyramid. So all you got to do to start is take your communities back, you know, start talking to people like I do, you know, educating them, do you know what I mean, about the, you know, the Freemasons that are in your town, what are in your city, what are they actually doing? Are they doing charity, or are they doing what Jimmy Savile did to cover charity? The charity covers up more sinister shit, you know what I mean? Like I said, don't be averse to using. Again, don't have nothing in your house, because they'll come round with their little police squad, yeah, you know, and he takes a phone call, you know, to someone to report someone, they'll come round and bash your door in, do you know what I mean? I've been waiting on that one, that's not happened yet, but that will happen, you know, and like I said, they'll look for something to arrest me with, do you know what I mean, yeah, regardless of what it is, or they'll try, you know, to make that situation where I'm arrested, because they'll start a fight or something like that, do you know what I mean? But that's the point, have nothing in your house, because they'll try and take it. Do you know what I mean? And thingy. So always have duplicates of duplicates, yeah? Which I do and have, yeah? And always upload it to a server online as well. That's another one, you know what I mean? So always have duplicates of duplicates, yeah? And save your work, what you do, you know what I mean? Because they will try and take it all away from you, and they will destroy it. And they'll come round as policemen doing their jobs. But they're not. They're doing the job for the Freakmasons to shush you up, mate. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. But anyway, my profane friends, I'm sure there's something else I was got to add to that, but I forgot now. But you know what I mean? Like I said, you know, the things and the strokes these people pull, you just won't believe it. You know what I mean? And like I said, if you really want to know who and what, you go down to a Masonic lodge, one of their hotels. Remember, they own all the hotels, so it don't matter. They own all the pubs and the clubs, blah, blah, blah. But you try getting into it, yeah, that inner circle. You can't, because you're profane, yeah? And you're a fucking nothing and a nobody. Do you know what I mean? You know, and they own your high streets, all the shops down your high streets they own. And if they don't own them, they own the leases anyway. Do you know what I mean? And that's what it's all about, you know. And people are scared to make a move or do anything because they'll lose their jobs, or they'll lose, do you know what I mean? Or they ain't getting their money. And that's why they brought a lot of them others in anyway, the indigenous species. Because if you do go like that, at least they got their workers and they'll pay them. Do you know what I mean? Mad, mate. And there's something coming. I don't know what it is, but it ain't looking good, is it, really? Do you know what I mean? They just, you know, they brought all them indigenous species over, but that's to hide them up. Do you know what I mean? Because when a war kicks off and they can sacrifice more people, they sacrifice to their god, the better it is for them. Do you know what I mean? We fight the wars, family members. No one wants to fight. No family member I know wants to fight in a war or get killed or see their son or their daughter get bombed or raped or whatever. But the Freemasons, they love it. They're going round because they're giving hand signs to each other. Do you know what I mean? And they're the gang that's doing all the work. Do you know what I mean? You know, read it. You know, I've seen it. You know, you talk, listen. You know, read things on war. Yeah, you got people that shoot above their heads. Yeah, they didn't want to kill anyone. They were shooting above the head, but there'd be the old psychopath in there that would go around shooting anyone and everyone. You see what I mean? Which was the Freakmason. Do you see what I mean? They're already getting indoctrinated, and you know they're already being groomed how to sacrifice and kill. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Start with little animals and then it goes on and on. I've shown you the one, you know, the sheep on the altar when they take that away and then put a dead body there, you know, which they get from the morgue because they control all the morgues and all the undertakers. Do you see what I mean? That's where they get the body parts. When they want to stab a skull or drink from a skull, they're using a profane skull. Do you know what I mean? That's what, you know, we just take the head off, boom, they go like that, boom, clean it, and then throw it in the furnace. They keep the skull for the Masonic Lodge. You know what I mean? Crazy. Well, how you know who's going to like question that or investigate that? No one, because they control the investigation because they're the police. You see what I mean? And who's going to pull a hearse of her? You know what I mean? Even if it has a skull in there, they go, oh, that's one. You know what I mean? They can say anything. Funny hand sign, it's all squashed. And even if a police officer, say, was like a police officer stops the car, and the chief inspector, one call, the chief inspector goes, shut up, be quiet, shh. Do you know what I mean? He's going to do that because he's going to lose his pension or his job. Do you see what I mean? And even if he does speak out and say about it, oh, he's a whistleblower anyway. And then all the Freakmasons will all stand there as one going, oh, he's talking rubbish. He's looking for click points or clickbait or whatever. Do you see what I mean? And this is how they do it all the time. Because they've always got the majority because they're working as one. Do you see what I mean? They're a team, a gang, an organised gang, yeah, that work together as a cabal, whatever you want to call it. You know, an outfit, you know, like an outfit, you know, like... Just like bloody all of them, you know, all the gangsters, it still goes on today. Just same as like, you know, the craze, you know, they got put away, blah, blah, blah. But that still goes on today. The gangs are in your town, in your city. They're coordinating together. Yeah, and that's all it is. You know, obviously you got gangs that hate each other and, you know, they'll shoot each other, blah, blah, blah. There's always that. But they always work together. You know what I mean? And the ones that work in them gangs, yeah, are the Freakmasons, like I said. You know, they may look like they're enemies, but they're not. Do you know what I mean? That's the Freemasons, all in the top echelons of the 1% gangs, the biker gangs, the scooter gangs. They're all controlled by Freakmasons. You know what I mean? Like a gang, right? You've got a gang, right? Let's just say a gang, yeah? You've got 10. That gang is 100 men, right? The gang is 100 men, right? The top 20 men are all Freakmasons, right? And I'm on about, like, say, the sergeants and all the rest of it, yeah? And the lieutenants and the, you know, chief honcho, yeah? All them 20 are Freakmasons, right? And the other 80 are profane and they think they're members of a gang, right? but they ain't. The Freakmasons, the 20 Freakmasons, keep them 80 men under control, under a badge of a gang. But it ain't. It's a Masonic gang. They're just not wearing their aprons and going, look, I'm a Freemason, dun, dun, dun. Do you see what I mean? They're doing it. That's how they control the gangs, you know. And I don't care if it's MS-16 in, like, you know, in America, all that sort of gangs, or the Crips or whatever, and I don't know much about it. But the people running the top gang at the level of where it all is are all Freakmasons. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, I can rattle on all day. You know me, I like to brag. Have a great day and be good, my profane friends, and never give up the fight. Because at the end of the day, they will never, ever give up. They've never given up on me, gang stalking me, making me a perjured individual. They've never given up. Do you know what I mean? And I remember them. I remember the first time I ever heard of Freakmasons, right, was the Bird's Eye strike, yeah? Right, I can't remember how old I was. I must have been... Oh, God, I don't know how old I was, yeah? I just remember being a young boy, yeah, and my dad was against it, so he was a scab, yeah, right, because he didn't agree on it. Again, he was an outside thinker, yeah, and I think he was a perjured individual as well, because these people, you know, and like I said, it's generational, yeah, but that's another story. I've got that in videos anyway. That's another story. But the point of the matter is Freakmasonry were behind the strike. Do you know what I mean? And I remember my mum going, "They're Freakmasons, they'll kill you." And I remember my dad going, "I don't care about them fucking killing me. They're in the wrong, and I'm standing my ground." And he did. He stood his ground, and I remember that. Do you know what I mean? But he never had many friends or anything. Do you know what I mean? Because of these Freakmasons. Do you know what I mean? Because they controlled it. And I remember, and they never spoke to him, you know, when he was working. You know, they never spoke to him at work or anything. He was a scab. Do you know what I mean? But he was trying to do what was right, you know, because he stood up to it. And, you know, but that was all to do with Freakmasons. Do you know what I mean? In the end, it shut down because of Freakmasonry, and then went to Lowestoft, you know, over in Suffolk. Do you know what I mean? Because they wouldn't bend the Freakmasons. Do you know what I mean? So we lost Bird's Eye. But that's another story. And there's loads of other shit like that, you know, with with Freakmasons, if you watch it. Do you know what I mean? I mean, maybe some of them, you know, I mean, like the Dockers, yeah, like the Dockers strike, when they were all outside the town hall, there's hundreds of men there. Maybe some of them men would stand up and we can go, like, jump out on some, like, drug dealers, you know what I mean? There's some big lads in there that we could jump at, you know, we could all get together and then jump out on these people that are dealing drugs within our community. You know what I mean? And you've got to ask yourselves, you know, why do people jump out on these paedophiles, right? Yeah, okay, and they're jumping out on them lethally all the time, but they don't jump out on any drug dealers that are dealing drug to your kids and having them as fucking slaves or money banks for the rest of their lives. Why is there no one jumping out on these drug dealers going bang? You know what I mean? Because the people who control your town, control your city, yeah, that's it, innit? It just tells you there. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, you know, no one's jumping out on drug dealers because of the reasons, you know, that you can work out yourself. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But the people controlling it and giving you, oh, like there's something being done. Yeah, they're jumping, you know, you can trick all these people in, you know, and getting them and catching them. Great. But why aren't you doing nothing about the drugs within your communities that is destroying your communities, destroying every community? They're into you know, they're into kid here, yeah, you know, that I can look at that ain't fucking dealing, you know, like a weed or a fucking, you know, something. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and then you go higher, blah blah blah. But no one's jumping, you know. And I've seen, like I said, I've got pictures of girls, various girls, shit, with kids, yeah, scoring crack and heroin. Do you know what I mean? You know, why ain't no one jumping out, protecting them children and that mother? Do you know what I mean? That has to feed her fucking habit. No one's doing jack shit. Do you know what I mean? But you can guarantee before that mother had them children, she was going to the nightclubs and the fucking pubs. Do you know what I mean? But no one's jumping out to help, are they? Do you see what I mean? And that's the fucking difference. Anyway, my profane friends, have a great day. And remember, I love you all. I could go on, you know, and say loads more. But like I said, I can't project, you know, my thoughts. But you better believe, you know, watch Maxwell. Oh, shit, I forgot his bloody name now. Oh, baby. I've been what Jordan Maxwell, yeah? Look at Jordan Maxwell. I'll put a link to him as well. If I remember, I've got to remember all these bloody links. But look at Jordan Maxwell, you know, and look at his religious theology, yeah? I think there's a 20-parter. There's about 2 hours on each video. But just watch them, and he tells you, you know, who the corrupt criminals are. But again, he makes the mistake, like everyone else. He go, the world leaders, you know, the world this, the world that. It ain't about the world. Forget the world. You can't do nothing about Washington. Obviously, if you're in Washington, you can. But I'm on about just in general. You know, I can't go to London 10 Downing Street. That's going to do nothing. You can go there all day long. They laugh your fucking head off. You're wasting your time. But you stand your ground in your town and you get enough people behind you and start watching the criminals, yeah, which you can do, yeah, and you follow them and watch them, yeah. You can have accountability then, can't you? Why is it the same fucking scenario, not just in this town, but in that town and in that city, and it's the same scenario over and over again? You see what I mean? Because you're thinking outside the box. But they will, like I said, because you're doing that and you're thinking about your town and your city, who runs it, who's the corrupt person, yeah, in your areas, yeah? Who owns the fucking town? Who has the power, yeah, of all the fucking shops and the fucking clubs and the pubs? Do you know what I mean? Who runs all that? Do you know what I mean? Where does that power come from? What's associated to that? Do you see what I mean? And when you start thinking like that, so you know, this is why they kill you. Do you know what I mean? This is why they harass you. This is why they disparage your name. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't want people thinking like that. They don't want people doing that. You know what I mean? But like I said, you think you're free from these people. You go try and take your community back from these people. You know what I mean? These Freakmasons. See what happened to you. And that's exactly why the communities ain't being taken back. Do you know what I mean? Because once you start going, oh, this drug dealer this and drug dealer that, do you know what I mean, which controls your communities anyway, yeah, that's where you get ostracized, do you know what I mean? Anyway, my profane friends, have a great day, and remember, download, copy, and spread it everywhere and anywhere you can, because I am the go-to MDB, right, which is also known as, aka, the Grand Architect of the ultimate Masonic demise, baby. You know what I mean, Sugar Puff? Have a great day, profane friends, and remember I love you. Have a great day.